How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Liberty Hour, streaming through Spreaker Studio and the A2 Jack YouTube channel. I'm back with Aleeyah and Kasey, and we were just talking about if we believe aliens are real, alien sightings are real, and stuff like that. I just kind of gave my response to my thoughts on the whole thing. Overall, though, if you guys have a response to that, go ahead. And also, at the same time, why do you think there are so many people out there that do believe that there are aliens and that is real or true?
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like a trend to believe. Like I think it's a cool thing to think about for sure. Like I don't know if you like alien movies, like that's creepy, but it's really cool at the same time. It's like a cool possibility. It's kind of like with ghosts. Like some people believe them, some people don't. It's like a cool thing to like really get into and think about. And I think people feel the same with like aliens as well. I feel like it's like just a cool thing to explore. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then what about you, Kasey?
Yeah, I agree with Aleeyah. I think it's definitely something that people like to look into as sort of like a fun thing. And I do agree with the fact that, there's definitely other life out there. And I think a lot of people like to get into that. So I wouldn't necessarily like disagree either that there aren't aliens. But I don't think that I don't know, maybe in the future, but for some reason, I just feel like we're never going to have any, like, actual interactions with something, extraterrestrial.
Gotcha. Well, interesting part about that poll that I mentioned too from Gallup is this was the first time a poll of anything related was conducted in over 20 years. Last time was September of 1996. And and there actually have been even with all of the memes and everything that you see today, there's actually less people that do feel that that there's more about UFOs than is being told. Only 68% believe that the government knows more about UFOs than it's telling us versus 71% back in 1996. The no opinion, though, in 1996 was 10%. Now it's 2. A lot of people from the no opinion side have moved over towards the no. So that's something that's very interesting. I don't know what has been the key cause to people feeling that there is, not as much that isn't known about aliens than there is. But a couple of interesting things about that study. Young people more likely to think that some UFOs are alien spacecraft than older people. And non-college graduates more likely to think that UFOs are alien spacecraft than college graduates. So, interesting little study there that I thought that was quite interesting. Not really much difference economically when you look at the study or religiously. Or gender-wise, just mainly age and college graduates on that. But that was interesting to give our thoughts on that. I just thought that was a really interesting issue, obviously going off of what happened last Friday in Nevada at Area 51. I wanted to actually go ahead and end this off with, as we're talking about life on possibly other places in our universe, big issue going on is, will there ever be life on Mars, or will we ever actually make colonies for ourselves to go live on Mars as overpopulation becomes more and more of an issue? And I wanted to go ahead and get your guys' thoughts before I go ahead and go over this article here. Do you think that humans will live on Mars in our lifetime, and should we even consider exploring the possibility?
Go ahead, Kasey, take it away.
I don't know, that's super interesting. Like, personally for me, I don't think that we should try to extend to another planet from Earth. I don't know, there's something about it that makes me uncomfortable because I feel like we're not meant to do that, and that we are not, like, our bodies may or may not be equipped for that. I don't know, because don't people, like, when they go out into outer space, they have to go through a lot of, like, training for their bodies to, like, adapt to the habitat, right?
Right.
So I honestly don't really, I don't know, I remember reading somewhere a long time ago about people already buying, like, tickets to go see it, or, like, there was, like, celebrities, like, they spent, like, millions of dollars for, like, a seat to, like, go to a different planet. I don't know if it was Mars specifically.
That was fake.
Was it fake?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. He has debunked that for me. But, yeah, I don't know. As people, like, I don't feel like we should try to extend above
human
Earth.
bodies are very adaptable. So if you send, like, a group over there over generations, if they can survive, they can adapt. Think about it.
I mean, I'm a worrywart. I feel like that's dangerous. Like, just the thought of, like, going into outer space in general makes me nervous. So, I don't know. I just feel like it'd be safer if people just stayed here,
Especially with technology, they'd be very adaptable.
Yes,
Very
if
dumb.
technology could get to that point where it makes adaptation really easy for people going to and from, like I can't imagine how advanced the technology would have to be to do all of that. But if it's possible enough for it to be super safe, then then I guess like I'd be okay with it. But I don't know. I always tend to think the worst about like outer space because it freaks me out. So I would prefer for like everyone to just stay here, where we know how everything works.
Gotcha. And then Aleeyah, what are your thoughts on that?
I think this is a little far-fetched. I feel like maybe at the most it'd be a cool vacation thing. Not to stay there, but to like see it, I guess. But I don't know. I feel like where we are at now as a society, trying to recreate that somewhere else, I feel like would take it's a much longer time. And I don't even know how time works, so I don't even know if that's the same thing. I have no idea. I think it's just a little crazy, and I feel like people have a hard time even committing to moving to another country, let alone another planet. So like, I don't know how that's gonna work. I think that's a little far fetched. I mean, if you want to go ahead, but I feel like it's gonna take a long time to get us where we're at now, and I feel like it wouldn't be ideal for a lot of people.
It's funny you
They
mentioned
come back.
you mentioned a little bit about the time frame and everything.
Yeah.
You would have to have some serious guts to want to actually take that journey, because the average journey time it takes from Earth to Mars in regular spacecraft that has gone to see stuff or test stuff is anywhere between 150 to 300 days. So you're talking about taking on average 6 to 7 months of your life just traveling, let alone actually getting there and being able to do anything once you do get there. So that in and of itself would be quite a task and quite a toll on some people. Plus, in terms of how much would it cost to actually be able to feed those people for that amount of time while they're on that journey to get them to go over there. How many people would you send over there? Because most spacecraft don't have a ton of people. So would you be making bigger spacecraft? Therefore, would it take longer because of more fuel being burned? Depending on what the alignment of the Earth and Mars is at that time. I mean, you're really testing a lot of waters that I think have yet to be anywhere close to being established scientifically of what it would be like, and I just don't know cost-benefit analysis-wise if it's even something that people should consider. I think if we really wanted to do it, I think that it definitely could be possible to be done in our lifetime. It's a matter, though, of people's choice on that, and I think there's a very, very high number of people that would choose to stay here at home rather than go somewhere else. But there might be some crazy thrill seekers that would be down to actually go do something like that. But then becomes the big issue of once you come over there, if you really regret it, are you even ever going to be able to come back? I mean, it's a very very interesting issue. And one thing I was going to say on this real quick as well is this is an article that was in astronomy.com. I wanted to go ahead and mention the headline is, "We could feed 1 million people living in colonies on Mars." It says, "With bugs, algae, and other resource-efficient foods, we could feed 1 million people on Mars within a century of arriving there. Scientists have even invented a Martian diet." So very interesting stuff there coming from scientists on this, but I mean, I think we should be focusing more on issues of how to solve overpopulation here at home rather than actually using that as a scapegoat of an idea in terms of testing something that we don't even know if is possible.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, honestly, like, not to get political, but I feel like we should be focusing more and spending more time and money and focus on actually what's going on here instead of some euphoria over there.
Right.
Yeah.
Kasey, do you have anything else you wanted to say on it at all by any chance?
No, I agree with that. Just like solve the problems here before creating another planet with other problems. Then you're going to be dealing with
not creating another planet, girl. That planet.
I mean, no, you can't be. Oh my god! It's like creating another, place for people to live.
Mean, but you said it wrong.
Oh my gosh! Next time I'm doing this by myself.
and not that I even think this would be a huge issue, but I mean, it says, one Mars year is on average 687 Earth days as well. I think it would be really interesting to see how people would kind of adapt to that. I know weather-wise, it's quite possible already, from what's been tested. I know the winters would be a lot cooler there as it is farther from the sun, but they've said that it is pretty possible weather-wise with traditional clothing there is here today and shelter that it would be possible to be done. I just don't know where you would get resources to build stuff from the bottom up. I mean, you're talking about creating literally a whole new evolution from the ground up and from scratch. So, I mean, very interesting. I don't know how possible that is. It will be interesting to see how the technology does continue to advance on that, though, as we go into the future, for sure. I wanted to go ahead and just say thank you guys for being on. Thank you for being on, Aleeyah and Kasey. You guys were great. Talked about a lot of great stuff. And we'll have to do this again because we had a lot of great ideas and stuff to bounce off. I know we have other stuff there's other stuff I could even talk about as well. But it is getting late. I know that you guys probably like to go to bed a little bit earlier. I know I'm gonna have to get up at 8 o'clock, so I'm gonna be having to go to bed pretty soon. But I just wanted to thank you guys for being on. Had a very enjoyable time talking, and thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for having us. I had fun too.
Of course, yep, of course. Well, you guys take care. I will be like I mentioned to all of you guys, I'll be having another podcast next week where I will be talking to a couple other people about some sports and political stuff, getting back on that realm. Pretty much besides that, I have a radio show at Sac State, for any of you that don't know, called the SmackDown Hotel that airs from 9 to 10 on Monday mornings, where I discuss everything in the wrestling world and in the sports world. And I have this show where I will be back within the next 165 or so hours or so. I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend and a good next week. We'll be back again soon. You guys have a good night. Take care. Peace out, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm probably on the FBI's most wanted list. I'm probably going to hung like an ornament. I'm on a life mission to a bunch of